Welcome back to Egocentric, and we have a jam-packed show here today, as usual, talking about everything with the birds. And man, did you see the news that broke last night with this schedule mess, this international mess that has all of the birds fans up in arms? And this is some very unsatisfying news. We're going to jump into that. Also, Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts, man, the relationship and the chemistry is building and building. We're going to get into that also. And man, Cowgirls, your time awaits, right? And we're going to jump into that also. So let me shut up, get into everything right now here on Egocentric. Let's go.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
He's at the 20.
They should stop this one.
Domination! Snot bubbles!
He throws. Complete. Touchdown. They've got him again. They've got him again. Sack.
Crumpler, what a throw, what a hit, what a catch.
Defense is just way too much for the Cowboys.
It's caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown. Pushes. Touchdown. Jalen Hurts. Touchdown. A.J. Brown. A run. He's going to score. It's a touchdown by Nick Foles. The train is in the end zone. Touchdown. Torrey Smith in for the touchdown is Jeffrey in. Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
You know, I can't stand these international games, and they're starting to become a real pain in my neck, right? Because why? And we know the reason why. The NFL is trying to expand the game internationally, hoopla, of course. But, you know, personally as a fan, my personal reasons, I'm pretty sure you have your personal reasons also. These international games for the Eagles suck, right? Like, no one likes them. And one of the reasons are, if you're on the west coast of the United States of America, meaning like, you know, California, Denver, Oregon, if you're on that side of the world in America, then you're going to have to be getting up at the butt crack of the day to watch the game. And it sucks, right? Like, and even us on the East Coast here, I live in Florida, so, you know, I'm on the East Coast, and we have to get up at 9:30 to watch this game. And what game am I talking about? Because I haven't jumped into it. I just came on here and started talking trash about the NFL's international games. I'm talking about this Eagles-Jaguars game that they're going to be playing in Tottenham Stadium, Week 5 of the NFL season, and it's scheduled to be at 9:30 in the morning. I can't put it any other way. That's the time, and it sucks, right? Like, I know me, I get up early, so it's not really a problem with me. I'm mostly worried about you fans. Like, this isn't going to be a game that has a ton of views, and it's not going to be an exciting game if you ask me. Maybe it will, because the last time we ran across the Jaguars, we know what happened. The leap, the Saquon leap, the Jahan Dotson crazy catch, and the one-handed touchdown by Devontae Smith that doesn't get talked about a lot. But anyways, bro, why not play this game in Orlando? Because the Jaguars stadium is in Orlando now. Why not play them in Orlando? Or why not play them in Philly? Why is this an away game? And I know the answer already. Like, I'm asking questions that I already know the answer to. It's because the Jaguars is a beloved team over there in London, right? And they have 2 London games this year. That's how much, you know, is it London games or is it just international games? I know they have 1 London game against us and another international game. The London, the London faithful love the Jaguars. They're like another London team. That should be the team that the NFL uses for their international team. The first international NFL team should be the stinking Jaguars, because they suck, and the Colts also, because they suck too. And they like to promote those teams as these, you know, the annual international teams. Like, we're going to make sure these guys get an annual international slot, and we just so happen to fall into that now this season. And the last time that the Birds had an international game, the season was great. Of course, it was the Packers game in Brazil, but it was so many things wrong with that, right? Like, later on, we have to play them in the playoffs week 1, wild card, I think. So it didn't turn out the best. I mean, it turned out the best for the Birds who won the Super Bowl, but that was an important game, basically, is what I'm saying. And Brazil was like, wasn't it like not safe to be on the streets of Brazil? So the team wasn't even able to enjoy Brazil. So that sucked also. The South America game, week 1 of the season, that just didn't rub fans the right way. I hated it. Of course, it was a good game, so maybe we get another good international game with the Birds and some other inferior team. But honestly, you should have gave us a team like the Titans or the Cardinals because we play the AFC South this year. Give us those teams. Give us the Titans. Give us not the Texans, but the Colts over there. Like, why are we playing the Jaguars? And I know there aren't like some Super Bowl winning team or anything like that, but they've been rising in the last couple of years. And to be honest, like if you're going to schedule a game that has that much history behind it as far as just Saquon leaping over a guy and that play being so big that it overshadowed a lot of other great plays, like if that's going to be the game that you want to let's have a rematch. Let's see them do it again. Why shouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do it in the States, right? And then, like I said, the inconvenience of getting up at 9:30 in the morning to watch this game. Who's getting up at 9:30 in the morning to watch an NFL game, right? College games don't even start that early. This sucks. At 9:30 on a Sunday, you're getting up and getting ready to watch your games. You're getting up, getting your coverage from NFL Game Day Live. That doesn't even come on because the international slot is so early, and those guys are covering the game, so you don't even get to see your Rich Eisens in the morning and Gerald McCoy and all those guys. You don't get to see, none of the coverage because you're too busy watching your team. You're hoping that it's a win, even though it's overseas and they're putting so much parade and party around the game. You as a fan is like glued into the TV because it's your team. It just sucks. I take every Eagles game super serious until we get to like the last 3 weeks. If the Birds have been winning and we don't need it, I could care less. But then like in the beginning of the year, week 5, let's just hope the Birds are like 4-1, 4-0, or 5-0 at that time, and let's get over it. But man, I hate it. And you let me know what's your gripe about this overseas game. I've seen so many unsatisfied fans complaining about this game, and I know, like I said, the international fans. This isn't a slight at you. I know you want to see the great NFL teams come over there and perform, and you want to see that product on your side of the world. Nothing wrong with it. But the way that the NFL schedule these games and do this, it just sucks. It has to be very early over there in order for us to play, or in order for any NFL team to play. No NFL team other than the Colts and the Jaguars have a fan base that likes these international games. Everyone hates them. Unless you're a Jaguars fan or an Indianapolis fan, and you hate these international games because of the inconvenience and how important some of these games are, like to put so much party and parade around it like it's just some regular game. You're playing some inferior team. It doesn't matter. We're overseas. Let's have fun. No. And then the flight back. So it's like an effect that just goes on. If you don't be able to recover, right, you might have a Sunday game and then a Thursday game that same week, and that game on Sunday is international. You have to come back Monday, go through walkthroughs on Wednesday, and then Thursday you're back on the field. You're not in your groove. Some of those guys aren't in the groove, and it's a lingering effect. I hate it. The international games suck. I'm not going to say let's get rid of them because the NFL is growing, and we have to applaud the NFL for growing and wanting to broaden the game, but find a better way to get the Birds in a better slot because this sucks. So getting back to some better news about the schedule, the Eagles have the Dallas Cowgirls on Thanksgiving Day in Dallas, might I add. I think that's a Week 14 game, and man, blood in the water. We know the Cowgirls, they usually the bottom starts to fall out during November and December, the holidays. And on the other side of the NFC East, St. Nick is giving us presents in the holidays. Like, we know we get our wins during the holiday season. And we could start to put that BTA on the Cowgirls early before Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving, before or December even begins. Before Christmas even comes, the presents that will be given to us by Cowgirls will be losses. And the presents that will be given to the Eagles are wins. Now, we know the Eagles have an all-time record on Thanksgiving Day. 6-1, we don't usually play on Thanksgiving, but the last time we did was 12 years ago, 2014, and we put BTA on Tony Romo. Brandon Graham on that defensive line, Fletcher Cox and we were kicking ass. And I think we're going to do the same thing. Of course, Lesean McCoy walked into Arlington in 2014, week 13, and put his feet on their table and told them, make me a sandwich, right? And they did. Whoop that ass 33-10, 25 carries, 159 yards. It was amazing. I watched that game. And, you know, the Eagles are the only team to put up 250 yards plus that year. So they couldn't stop the run attack now. They couldn't stop it back then. They'd never been able to stop the Eagles' running game. And, man, I think that Saquon is going to do the same thing. It's going to be a mirror performance, a mirror production. Let's get 25 carries and 160 yards essentially from Saquon in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. And we know that the NFL is centered around two teams on Thanksgiving Day, Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowgirls. So wouldn't that be the ultimate upset? And it's only going to be an upset because it's Thanksgiving Day, and we know NFL loves them some Cowgirls on Thanksgiving Day. But, man, like I said, Sean McCoy, go ahead and pass the torch on to Saquon, and let's kick that ass on Thanksgiving Day. The best day of eating in history.
I'll say the last thing is Thanksgiving. More of like that pride. And the last time the Eagles played on Thanksgiving Day, our brother named Lesean McCoy got the gobbler game award.
Gobbler.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Because you be rushing up them yards.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it's because of that or it's just the MVP of the game.
Yeah.
So
You ate a turducken.
so I feel like, I'm going to pass that thing down to my boy 2-6, and you know what's about to happen.
Okay.
Now, to know that Jalen Hurts and Sean Mannion have hit it off, according to ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler. Bro, let's read this. Let's read this first before I get into my opinion. Let's read this. Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts have reportedly hit it off. And Hurts reportedly likes how Sean Mannion structures his offense, how he talks about how they're going to attack things because it's going to look different. Hurts is going to be on the center more, and there will be more play action than he had in the past. Sources have told us that Hurts at times has been reluctant to these changes, but he is as open to them now than he's ever been. Right? And I don't think that Jalen Hurts has ever been reluctant to these changes. That's hoopla, balderdash, blah, get it out of here. I don't want to hear it. It's nonsense. Right? Like I said, no Super Bowl MVP is ever reluctant to those type of things to go on in the playbook, on the field, whatever. But I do think that Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts hitting it off, that is awesome. The best news to come out of the offseason so far. You know, these articles, these hit pieces about Jalen Hurts are on like auto during this time of the year. So we know around this time of the year, it's just going to be automatically put out there. Tim McManus and whoever are going to put out their reports. Philly insiders, might I add. But anyway, they're going to talk their trash about Jalen Hurts around this time of the season. But to see actually, like, you know, a good piece written about him, right? Like him and Sean Mannion hitting it off, burning the midnight oil, trying to get this offense, you know, like working. And I talked about the helmet cam, and now we know Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts are on track, building the chemistry already in the offseason. The workouts are here. OTAs are right around the corner. Bro, like, this is the news that you want to hear. We never get this type of news. So, yes, get excited about this. Why? Because Sean Mannion is going to have huge expectations on his shoulders. And to know that Jalen Hurts is already bought in, it's going to make it easier for him, right? We don't want it to be hard on our new offensive coordinator. Let's make it easy, right? Let's make it comfortable and let's get them in there. Let's ease them in there so we don't have to worry about nothing down the line on game day. But I love this news. And, bro, actually hearing more about this is that Jalen Hurts, what else came from this, is Jalen Hurts has been working overtime with Smitty and Elijah Moore. Where's Dontavian Wicks? But I know he's going to come into the – Dontavian Wicks is going to come into this – you know, he's going to get that chemistry with Jalen Hurts also as time goes on. But to get this report of Smitty and Elijah Moore, it has me so excited. And we're looking at these pictures of Smitty in the locker room with his shirt off. Pause. He's gained more weight. I think he knows that his role is about to be even bigger. A.J. Brown is on the way out. So his role is about to change. It's about to be a lot more physical this season. But on the other hand, Elijah Moore, Jalen Hurts, like, we got a lot of depth in the wide receiver room this offseason. But to know that Jalen Hurts is specifically working with Elijah Moore, the, like, what, second most tenured veteran in the wide receiver room. I think Hollywood Brown and him are probably, did they come in the same draft? But those guys are like the veterans in the like wide receiver room. You know, Smitty is getting there. He's still a young guy, if you ask me. But, bro, Elijah Moore and Jalen Hurts putting in that work, building that chemistry before the OTAs is something that's very promising. Get excited. I don't like to tell you guys how to feel, but I'm going to do it now. Get excited about this because we didn't get these type of reports about Sean with Kevin Patullo last year. Jalen Hurts wasn't this excited about, you know, Kevin Patullo last year. He wasn't this excited about his offensive coordinator. He didn't rave about him. When asked about him, it mostly sounded like he was like, well, we'll see. I don't like the guy, but we'll see. And if I'm not going to get into the Kevin Patullo thing again. But like I said, Deshaun Mannion, Jalen Hurts hitting it off reportedly, burning that midnight oil, like I said, it's awesome news. Take it and run with it. Yes, don't take it as a grain of salt. Take it and run with it. Now to brighten up your day a little bit before we get up out of here, the Eagles had their annual Autism Foundation. I know I'm a little late on this, but man, I haven't been able to record and talk about this. I love this time of the year. I hate the offseason overall, but for the Birds, this time of the year is like one of my favorites when the Eagles have their annual Autism Challenge, and the attendance was out of the roof. 6,832 people attended. Beautiful Birds fans came and broke a record, raising $16 million. And that will all go to research and care, right? And the Birds began this foundation right here. It says 9 years ago, right? And it raised over $50 million total in 9 years. That is awesome. And man, it just another indicator of how beautiful the Birds fans in its city is, right? Like, bro. And I also seen that some guy proposed to his wife out there. So like, you know, the fans are just awesome, man. What better way to propose to your wife than at an Eagles annual foundation where it's all good vibes, everyone's smiling, having a great time. Yeah. Now, of course, there's going to be much more news to cover around the Birds in the next few weeks. Like I said, OTAs, mandatories, it's all on its way. Just be a little bit more patient. And June 1st is right around the corner, guys. It's like 2.5, 3 weeks to the most. So get ready to get rid of the AJ Brown. And let's start to look towards the future. And like I said, I can't wait. I hope this day comes even sooner. And let's not get fleeced, Howie. Anyway, we're going to be right here. I'm going to be right here waiting for you guys to come on back. Of course, you know how it is here. You know the routine. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all of that in between. And be blessed. Go Birds.
Yo, 1 second, bro. 1 second. I got it. Crazy. It's crazy. I was wondering too, like, I didn't know if I was gonna see you or what. Yo, 1 second, bro. I was talking to him. You be here for a minute? Alright. Get the fuck up out my face with what you talking about. I got too much on my plate, and I know you can't relate. It's your love, it be fake. Fuck you talking about.